Alright, now that Shawn's got the brush, most of the brush, cleaned up with the skid steer. The reason they call it a skid steer is because it skids its tires when it steers. So a skid steer can pick up some of these logs, but when we get down to some of the butt logs down there, and they are called butt logs, they're pretty big, and they're really difficult for that smaller machine to pick up. See that big hole right there? That's where we had some stumps yesterday that we tore out, and those stumps got picked up and taken away. We'll show you that later. But this log needs a bigger machine to pick it up. So, we've got to find a bigger machine. Don't see one over there. Whoa. There's a skid steer compared to the backhoe. We call this a backhoe. It can have a bucket on the front of it. It can have forks on the front of it. Right now we've got forks on it. This is a four-wheel drive machine. It's a Caterpillar. It has a cab on it. Newer ones have air-conditioned cabs. This one has heat. Big tires in the back. It has stabilizers in the back as well. And I say, well, Mr. McDuffie, why do you need a big excavator when you got one of those? Well, this isn't big enough to do the work that we need to for the excavating. The excavator just is much more powerful than this. It's got a larger boom, but it has the same type of cylinders. We have a cylinder here for the bucket itself. We have another cylinder up there to tilt the boom in the back. And then we have another cylinder over here that's going to tip this portion of that boom. And then we have some hydraulics on the bottom. Those hydraulics are what are going to turn the boom left and right. And if you look here, we have a big cylinder that's going to operate the stabilizers. There's a stabilizer on this side and another one on the other side. And you can see the controllers in there. We have a series of controllers that are going to allow us to run the stabilizers and each one of the cylinders on the boom itself. This one also has big teeth. These teeth are replaceable. Now this one's got another neat attachment. It's a thumb. That thumb right there will allow us to reach out and grab logs and things. Alright, Shawn, you're up. Show us how the backhoe works first, please. So inside here we have our controls. Not awfully luxurious. It's used, but that's alright. Here are the controls for the backhoe. And the seat will actually pivot to go backwards. Here are the different controls on our different gauges: water pressure, oil temperature, those types of things. I'm going to get out of here and let Shawn get in. The bucket on this has a lift cylinder here. Shawn will show you that in a minute. And it has a tilt cylinder there. Another diesel engine in this one. Oh, see how he spun that around? Do that again, Shawn. Stabilizers. The machine is off the tires. Also notice it has a wider stance than the tires. You can tip the bucket. And he also has something to extend it. This is called an extend-a-hoe. He's extending that bucket way out so he has a further reach. It makes a big difference. If you're ever going to go buy one of these, get one with an extend-a-hoe. In order to make this work, he has to operate multiple levers at one time. So let's look at them. Watch the hands. go left and right. Alright, let's put it away. Okay, here he goes. So he's bringing the stabilizers up. Now what he's going to do is swing himself around. Now he's going to raise and lower the bucket. It's not a bucket, it's forks. Alright, let's see what he can do with this machine. These logs aren't any good. They're too small. They're twisted. You can see that. It's not a nice straight log. It's got a bad twist in it. These have a lot of branches in them. And unfortunately, we can't do anything with those. Along with all the logs over there, we can't do anything with those logs either. But we do have some logs here that we're going to take to a sawmill, and I might even videotape some of these logs being cut at the sawmill. These logs right here, that big one, if I were to count the annual rings, if you count each one of those rings from the center to the outside, you get the age of the tree. That tree is probably about 70 years old. That's a nice log. That's going to be taken to the mill. Here's some more big ones that can go to the mill. But we got to get them onto a trailer and get them over there. We've got a big trailer that's going to haul these logs over to the mill. These over here, those are pine logs. Pine grow pretty quickly. Pine tree, there's our pine trees right there. There's a big pine tree. Over here we have an oak tree. Those oak trees are older. They take a longer amount of time to grow. And here's an oak tree that's about the same size as that pine tree, but if I were to count from the center of the tree, the rings, to the outside, I'll get the age of that tree. That tree is probably 150 years old. I'm going to count it one of these days. I like to figure out how old these trees are. So next thing we're going to need to do is finish getting the logs, and then we got to get the stump out of there. Stumps are going to come over here. Can't do anything with the stumps. Not sure what's going to happen. It'll probably take 50 or 60 years for these stumps to break down. That is a big mass of roots. Look at the root system in that tree.